So the love languages, if you guys aren't familiar with them, are quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, and gift giving. Now, I always thought this could work well as long as it's stuff that you've done from the beginning and throughout the relationship. But where I've always thought that this completely would not work is when you're trying to rekindle desire that's been lost. Would you say that's accurate, or that's not even accurate?
I'm going to go with, this. I'm going to go with it's unnecessary and you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Okay.
If you're following this as a paradigm. And the reason why that's really important is because a lot of, having the relationships that you want involve being able to know what to focus on and what to improve on, what to put your energy into. Because you only have a finite amount of energy and time on a daily basis to put into your relationship. You do not have any time. You're already in a deficit. Every person on earth, you're already in a deficit. You have to catch up. You don't have time wasting your time with like pop psychology stuff that's not going to get you advanced into what you want. So what happens is we run into this thing where we have an idea and then we try to fit, because it sounds kind of good. We try to fit things into the idea instead of going, the idea is not really where the results are going to come from. So why don't I scrap the idea and work on something different, like understanding how men and women communicate differently fundamentally, and then dial it down to my individual relationship, because there are always individual variances, and learn, for example, as a man leading the relationship, how I can communicate with my woman effectively so that she feels taken care of and loved and is attracted and maintains her desire and attraction because of those things. That would be way better to focus on than trying to bargain with 5 love languages, because ultimately what it turns out to be for those that come to this, and I'll get to your point though about starting there though, right? Yeah. But what it ultimately boils down to is it becomes a negotiation for sex almost every time, because the guy goes, almost always the guy's like, I really want physical touch. I really need the physical touch. I mean, we're barely touching each other like once a month. Definitely want physical touch. What do I need to do to get physical touch? And she's like, love to give him that, but I'm not feeling it. I don't want to force it. What do I do? And it becomes a bargain. She says, well, I need more help around the house. That's acts of service. And then, if you just, took me on a date every now and then for date night, then that would be good, right? So she doesn't know. All she knows is that the attraction's gone and she wants it back too, and she doesn't know what to do either. So it's not even a slam on the woman. Right. She's looking for answers. So she goes into some counselor's office who's been trained as a counselor, but then looks at this book that's written not by a counselor, which is fine if it's been vetted, but then there's no studies, nothing to actually vet the material and measure whether it works or not, and says, you know what? You like physical touch and you like words of affirmation. You say you need more or help around the house. That means you want acts of service and you want more of his time because you want date nights now, right? So there you go. There's your love languages, guys. Like that makes sense, right? And then they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And so then it becomes a negotiation where he's like, okay, got date night. He's completely unattractive about it. He doesn't understand how women communicate or how their desire actually works. Sure. So he ends up doing the same. Remember that restaurant we like? It ends up being that guy taking him to the same dumb place, doing the same dumb things. Yeah. And there's no variety, because variety is a requirement for sexual desire for women, not variety of partners, but variety of experiences. And so she's finding herself unattracted to him. Right. And now she feels guilty and she's having obligatory sex. And then she's like, after a while of doing that, nothing's happening. And she's like, man, well, maybe we shouldn't be together. Maybe we should get divorced because I'm just not happy. And maybe it's not meant to be. Now we get into other woo-woo ideas.
Yeah.
When really he's not communicating in an attractive way. She's not sure what makes her, she's in a responsive role. So there's nothing much she can do, actually. The guy, it's kind of up to the guy to behave in an attractive way. You know what I mean? And she's doing her best trying to figure out, but it's not working. It becomes this negotiation for sex based on chores and, you know, a date night in that circumstance or whatever, bringing her gifts or whatever. She's like, well, at least I'll get a new purse once a month, you know, if I give him a blowy.
What's up, brother? If you like this clip, go back and listen to the full episode. I guarantee you'll love it. Visit my channel. If you haven't done so already, subscribe now. If you prefer to listen to longer episodes in audio format, the podcast is available on all major podcast platforms.